Hey everyone, welcome to week 2 of my Yoga for Beginners series. Last week we talked about being present and the importance of drawing your attention back to your breath when you found yourself getting distracted. And today we're going to build on that a little bit with the theme let go. So I really want you to let go of anything you were doing or thinking before you came onto your mat today, so you can really be here and be present for the next 30 to 45 minutes. Secondly, I really want you to let go in the yoga poses. Just allow your body to soften, to release, to melt into the poses, and to make sure you let go of any tension. So with that, let's get started. We're going to come into a comfortable seat today. So you can either start here in a simple cross-legged position, or you can come up onto your knees and shins. So just choose a position that works for you. We'll be doing both our breathing practice and our meditation in this comfortable seat. And once you've found that comfortable seat, I just want you to lengthen up through your spine and allow your hands to rest on your knees or in your lap. And then just gently close your eyes down. Just coming back to the basic breath awareness we started in last week's class. Just want you to breathe regularly for just a few breaths. Just observing your inhalations and exhalations without trying to change them. Now I want you to seal the lips. So you're just breathing in and out of the nose. And on that exhalation, I want you to imagine that you're trying to fog up a window or a mirror. So you're making that sound, but your lips are closed. Sounds a little bit like this. And just keep breathing like that, making that sound on the exhale. This type of breathing is called our Ujjayi Breath, or our yogic breathing. And some people like to call this ocean breathing, because the sounds you make almost sounds like the waves rolling into the shore. And keeping that Ujjayi breath, you're going to begin to inhale and exhale to the count of 4, and I'll count you in. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, 2, 3, 4. And just keep breathing like this. Deep inhales. Complete exhales. Remember, at any time throughout today's practice, always draw your attention back to this breath. Now I want you to bring your attention to the top of your head. And just do a nice and slow body scan meditation all the way down to our feet. So with that attention at the top of your head, you imagine this feeling of letting go, of relaxation, just going across your scalp, down to your temples, releasing any tension in your jaw, maybe rocking your jaw from side to side, and then settling it down. Take this softening down through your neck and into your shoulders. Allowing your shoulders to soften and release down your back. This relaxing feeling moves down through your chest, down through your arms. Feel your fingertips release if they're holding any tension. Notice if your belly is tense or tight, and just relax it. Notice how your back can soften. Your spine can still feel nice and long. Releasing through the big muscles of the legs. Feel the ground beneath your sit bones and your feet. Allowing them to soften and melt into the ground beneath you. And take this feeling all the way through your ankles, relaxing through your toes. Feel this feeling of softening and releasing throughout your whole body. And gently bring your hands together in front of your heart. I offer you the mantra, I am calm. For any time during this practice or throughout the rest of your day or week, you need just a reminder to let go, to soften, to release. You can come back to this mantra. I am calm. Gently release your hands down and blink your eyes open. Now we're going to roll over the knees and come straight into our child's pose. So you're taking your knees wide, your big toes together. You're sinking the hips back over the heels, walking the hands forward and bringing the forehead down to the mat. And we're just going to be here for a few breaths, just allowing your body to really melt down into the ground. And still keeping that Ujjayi breath. Inhale and exhale through the nose. Now just walking your hands over to the left hand side, still keeping them nice and long. You should feel a nice stretch up through the right hand side of your body, from the right fingertips all the way through to the right hip. Still sinking those hips back over the heels. Walking your hands back through center and over to the right hand side. Feeling that length up through the left hand side of the body, from the left fingertips all the way through to the left hip. And then walking those hands back through center. And then coming up into your tabletop pose. Now, just the same setup as last week. So those pointer fingers facing forward, those elbow creases wrapping forward. The hands are underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. And the spine is neutral. We're going to go through our cat-cows here. So on the inhale, we're going to drop the belly, arch the spine, and take the gaze up. And on the exhale, we're going to push the ground away, round the spine, and tuck the chin into the chest. Inhale, drop the belly, arch the spine, gaze up for your cow pose. And exhale, round the spine, push the ground away, chin to chest, cat pose. One more like that. Inhale, coming into your cow pose. Then exhale, rounding into your cat pose. Inhale, coming back through center. We're going to do our wrist warm up. So we're going to flip the left palm around so the fingertips are facing the knees. And just take some gentle circles here. Starting nice and small. You should feel this through the wrists and the forearm. And then take your circles in the opposite direction. And then flip that palm around. Flip the right hand around so the palms down, fingertips are facing the knee. And just start with those small little circles. And then taking the circles in the other direction. We spend a lot of time on our wrists in yoga, so it's always good just to release through those wrists before we get started. And then turning that right palm around. Ground down through your hands, pointer fingers facing forward, wrap those elbow creases forward. Inhale, tuck the toes under, lift the knees off the ground. Then exhale, shift those hips up and back for your first downward facing dog. So just remember here in the down dog, the hands are still shoulder width apart, those elbow creases are still wrapping forward. The head is between the biceps, the ears are between the biceps. The feet are hip distance apart. Your gaze is back in between the feet. And if you can see those heels, and I want you to wrap the inner thighs towards one another so those heels rotate outwards and disappear out the back of the foot. And then once you have that alignment, maybe walking out your dog, bending through one knee and then the other, feeling that nice lengthening through the calves and the hamstrings. And then finding stillness in your downward facing dog. I'm going to inhale, rock the body forward, coming into plank pose. And then exhale, shift the hips back, downward facing dog. 2 more like that. Inhale, rocking forward, plank pose. Then exhale, shifting those hips up, downward facing dog. Last one. Inhale, rocking forward, plank pose. This time, lower the knees down, untuck the toes, and then exhale, bending through the elbows, lower all the way down onto the belly, forehead down on the mat. Untuck the toes so the tops of the feet are grounding down into the mat. Make sure the hands are palms down underneath the shoulders. Wrap the elbows back into your body. Then inhale, lift the chest, neck, and head off the ground for your cobra pose. And then exhale, lower that forehead back down. 2 more like that. Inhale, arching the spine off the ground, cobra pose. Exhale, lowering down. Last one here, really grounding down through the top of the feet as you lift. Inhale. And exhale, lowering that forehead back down. Inhale, tuck the toes under. Push your hands down into the ground. Make your way back to tabletop or plank. Then exhale, shift the hips up and back for that downward facing dog. Just take 1 deep breath here. And exhale. And on the inhale, bend through the knees. And exhale, just gently walking the feet up to meet the hands at the top of the mat. Take your feet hip distance apart and bring opposite hands to opposite elbows for ragdoll here. Keeping that bend in the knees. Letting that belly fall onto your thighs. Releasing through the neck and the head, maybe shaking the head yes and no. And then releasing the elbows so the hands fall down towards the ground. Gently rolling all the way up to standing, coming into your mountain pose. So in our mountain pose here, we want those big toes together to touch, the heels slightly apart. Arms are by your side, palms facing forward. We're going to take 3 sun salutations here. So inhale, reach the arms wide, bring them together above your head. And exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips, keeping that bend in the knees. Inhale, hands to shins, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, plant the hands down, stepping back to your plank pose. Inhale, lower the knees down, untuck the toes. And then exhale, bending through the elbows all the way down onto your belly. Inhale, coming up into that cobra pose. Exhale, lowering the forehead back down to the mat. Inhale, make your way back to tabletop or plank. And then exhale, shift the hips back for downward facing dog. 1 breath here, inhale. And exhale. On your inhale, bend through the knees. And on the exhale, stepping to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms out and up towards the sky. And exhale, hands together in front of the heart. 2 more. Inhale, reach the arms up and wide, bring them together. And exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, hands to shins. And exhale, stepping back to plank pose, top of a push-up. Inhale, lower the knees down, untuck the toes. And exhale, bend through the elbows, lower all the way down to the ground. Inhale, coming up into your cobra pose. And exhale, forward, forehead back down. Inhale, make your way back to tabletop or plank. And exhale, shift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. One deep inhale here. And complete exhale. And on the inhale, bend your knees. And on the exhale, stepping lightly to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, reach the arms out wide, bring them together above your head. And exhale, hands together in front of your heart. Last one here. Inhale, reach the arms wide, bring them together above your head. And exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, plant your hands down, stepping back to plank pose. Inhale, lower the knees down, untuck the toes. And exhale, bending through the elbows, lower all the way down onto your belly. Inhale, coming up, cobra pose. Exhale, lower the forehead back down. Inhale, tuck the toes under, make your way back to tabletop or plank. And exhale, shift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. One big inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, reach the right leg up high behind you. And exhale, draw that right knee into your nose and step it between your hands. Now this time I want you to keep the back knee off the ground. Ground down through the left hand so it's underneath the left shoulder. Then inhale the right arm high to the sky for an easy twist. Now we're really activating through that back leg. So that back quad is engaged. We're grounding down through that left hand. We're reaching the right arm high. One more breath. And on the exhale, bring that right hand down to frame the right foot. Really push down through the sole of that right foot as you reach the arms high to the sky for your high lunge or your crescent lunge. So this is the same setup as our low lunge, but the back knee is off the ground. This front knee is stacked over the front ankle. The back leg is strong. You can have a slight bend in that back knee if you need to. The heel of the back foot is stacked over the ball of the back foot. The arms are high, the shoulders are away from the ears. And you should be feeling this up through the front of the left hip. Reach the arms high. Maybe sink a little deeper on the exhale. Now we're going to open up into warrior two. So I want you to spin that back foot down so it's parallel with the back of the mat. Then open the arms wide so they're pointing out in front of your mat and behind your mat. This front knee is stacked over this front ankle. And your alignment here, there's a couple of different options. I like to align my front heel with the arch of my back foot. However, you can heel toe that foot out to the side and just see what feels right for you. Sink a little deeper. Now I want you to notice if this right knee is kind of tracking in towards the big toe. Think about rotating it so it's actually pointing in line with your middle toes. Ground down through the outer edge of that back foot. It likes to pop up a little bit. Flip the front palm and then keeping the legs how they are, reach the right arm up and back for a reverse warrior. One more breath. And then cartwheel the hands down. Frame the front foot back into our runner's lunge. Inhale, step back to plank. And on the exhale, lower the knees down, bend through the elbows, come all the way down to your belly. Inhale, make your way up to cobra pose. Exhale, forehead back down. Inhale, tabletop or plank. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the left leg up and back behind you. Exhale, draw that knee in towards your nose and step it between your hands for your runner's lunge. Grounding down through that right hand so it's underneath that right shoulder. Inhale, open the left arm high to the sky for an easy twist. Remember to really engage through that back leg. That back leg is strong. One more inhale. And then exhale, lower that left hand down. Really ground down through all four corners of that left foot. as you reach the arms up, coming up into your high lunge or your crescent lunge. And remember your setup here. Front knee stacked over front ankle. Back leg is strong. You can have a slight bend in that back knee. Heel of the back foot over the ball of the back foot. And you should be feeling length up through the right hip flexors. Arms are high, shoulders away from the ears. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we're opening up into that warrior two. So that back foot is parallel with the back of the mat. This front knee is still stacked over the front ankle. The arms are reaching out in front and behind you at shoulder height. Then notice if that knee is rocking in towards that big toe. Think about rotating it out so it's in line with your middle toes. Sink a little deeper. Make sure the outer edge of that back foot is grounding down. Inhale, flip the front palm, and then reverse your warrior, taking that left hand up and painting the sky. Keeping the same position in the legs. One more breath in. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame the front foot, so you're in your runner's lunge. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, lower the knees down, untuck the toes, and lowering all the way down onto your belly. Inhale, make your way up into cobra pose, arching through the spine. Exhale, forehead back down. Inhale, tabletop or plank. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Now inhale forward to plank pose. And this time you have the option. You can choose to lower those knees down, or you can lower all the way down, just bending through your elbows, keeping your spine nice and long. Once you reach the ground, bring your hands back beside you, palms facing down. Draw your feet together so your big toes are touching, your inner thighs are squeezing together. We're going to exhale all our air out. And on the inhale, I want you to lift everything up off the ground. So the ankles off the ground, the shins off the ground, the chest off the ground, the shoulders. The hands are reaching back. Everything's lifting. This is your locust pose, your Shalabhasana. One more inhale, lift everything a little higher. And exhale, release the right ear down to the mat. Let's take a couple of breaths here. And drawing your chin back to center. And you can take that same variation of locust pose again, or you can interlace your hands behind you, roll your shoulder blades together. Exhale all your air out, zipping the legs up together. Then inhale, lift. Lifting the chest, the shoulders off the ground, the head off the ground, legs off the ground. You're almost trying to reach those clasped hands back for your feet. It's a really nice way to open up through the front of the chest to strengthen those back muscles. One deep inhale. And then exhale, release opposite ear down to the mat. Releasing the hands by your sides. And bending through the knees. And just windshield wiper the feet from side to side, releasing through the lower back. Release the feet back down to the mat. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Inhale, make your way up to tabletop. This time we're going to come back into a child's pose, but with the knees together, and then reaching the hands back beside us. So we've done wide knee child's pose a few times now, but this is a more traditional variation of child's pose with the knees together and the arms resting back beside you. And then coming back into your tabletop pose. Inhale, tuck the toes under, lift the knees off the ground. And then exhale, shift the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the right leg up and back behind you. And then exhale, draw the right knee towards the right wrist. And then lower the right shin down onto the ground. So we're coming into pigeon pose here. I want you to tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee off the ground, and then shift that back knee back a little bit. And then untuck the back toe. So you might find that you're already feeling this quite intensely in your outer hip. And you can just stay here. If you have a lot of space between your hip and the ground, I recommend just putting a block there, just so you have something for your hip to rest on, just a little bit of support so you can really let go and release into the ground. You can always try coming down onto your elbows. If you're feeling really open, you always have the option of walking your hands forward and bringing the forehead down to the mat. And you might have seen this pose with the shin parallel with the top of the mat, which is definitely a deeper variation of this pose, but by no means does your shin need to be parallel with the top of the mat. Now just know that pigeon pose and deep hip openers tend to sometimes bring out an emotional response in people, so you might be feeling frustrated or angry or maybe even a little bit sad. And that's just really normal, especially for me, with hip opening poses. However, if you're feeling any pain in the knees, especially in the knee, then I just want you to flip over onto your back and take that figure 4 pose we took last week with the right ankle crossed over the left thigh. Just one more breath here in your pigeon pose. And exhale, just tucking those back toes under, lift the back knee off the ground. And then just swing that right foot back for your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up and back behind you. Exhale, bring that left knee towards the left wrist. And just dropping that left shin down to the ground. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee off the ground and just shift that back knee back a little bit. And then release to the top of your foot. And you might notice this side immediately feels a little bit different. So just knowing that you don't have to take the exact same variation you took on your right side. And of course, if you have that space between your hip and the ground, you can place a block here. And if you don't have a block, you can also use a pillow or a rolled up towel, just something to provide a little bit more support. When you're feeling ready, you might come down to your elbows. And if you're super mobile in the hips, you might even walk those hands out, bringing the forehead down to the mat. So just choosing an option that feels good for you. Notice if you're holding tension in your jaw. Sometimes instead of releasing through the hip, we might grit our teeth together and just build up tension through the jaw. One more inhale and exhale. And then when you're ready, just walking the hands back in underneath the shoulders, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee off the ground, and then step that left foot back into your downward facing dog. And this is your last down dog of the day. So if you want to take any more movements, feel free to do that now. And then just gently coming down onto your knees and then rolling into a seat. We're going to take Janushirasana now, or it's like a seated tree pose. So we're going to take the right leg long. We're going to bend the left knee and bring the sole of the left foot to the right inner thigh. We're going to inhale, reach through the arms, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, fold over that right leg. Now your hands can come to your feet. Your hands can come to your shin, or you can just release your hands on either side of your foot. We're just trying to close this gap between the belly and the upper thigh. If you need to have a little bend in this right knee, that's also fine. Just taking variations that work for you. And walking your hands back in. Plant the sole of the left foot on the ground and then step it over the right thigh. Bring the left hand down behind the left hip. Inhale the right arm high to the sky. And exhale, twist to the left, hooking that right elbow over the left knee. Just a seated twist. Really lengthen through the spine on the inhales. Maybe twist a little deeper on the exhales. And then just coming back through center, gently coming over to the right for a little counter twist. And then swapping legs. So reaching the left leg out long, drawing the sole of the right foot to the left inner thigh. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, fold. So once again, you have options. Your hands can just be on the ground on either side of your shin. You can take hold of your ankle. You can take hold of your foot. Just notice with every exhale how you can soften a little bit more. And then walking those hands back in. Plant the sole of the right foot on the ground. And then cross it over the left knee. Inhale, lengthen through the left arm. And exhale, twisting to the right, hooking that left elbow over the right knee. And just remember on those inhales, you're really lengthening through the spine. And then the exhales, twisting a little deeper. And just coming back through center and over to the left for a little counter twist. And then releasing the right leg long with the left leg. And then just rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, coming all the way down onto your back. Draw your knees into your chest and take hold of the outer edges of your feet or your ankles. And then imagine you're trying to draw the knees down towards the ground. This is happy baby pose. Maybe you'll rock side to side, just releasing through the inner seam of the legs. And drawing those feet and knees back together. Wrap your hands around your shins. Draw your knees to your nose. Take one deep breath in. And then exhale, releasing down into your Shavasana pose. Letting your ankles splay wide. Your arms are long beside you, palms facing up. Just allow your body to sink into the ground. Release any tension. Maybe using that little body scan we did at the start of class. And working your way from your scalp to your toes. Releasing tension as you work your way down your body. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. Maybe wiggling your fingers and your toes. And bring some gentle movement to your wrists and your ankles. Of course, you can stay here as long as you want, but if you're ready to get on with your day, just slowly bending through your knees and planting the soles of your feet on the ground. And then rocking over to your favorite side, using your arm as a little pillow. And then just making your way back up into a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed, letting your hands rest in your lap. We'll close this practice with a really deep inhale through the nose. And open the mouth and sigh it out. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. I honor the space inside you in which the entire universe dwells. It is a place of peace and love and truth and happiness. And when you're in that place in you, find that place in me. We are one. Namaste.